and we see exactly what they want to pull out. Elevate opting into that first pick, and the first ban going to be Odin once again.
No real surprise here, at least not in my personal opinion. Odin is such a strong pick for Wolves, and I don't think anybody really wants to see him running that one.
And with the Scotty, was kind of hinted at, I think, in Twitch chat, you and SNK kind of going at each other. Not something anyone wants to deal with when it comes down to it. Permafrost, very, very annoying to deal with. And the same thing kind of comes out with the Chronos.
I'm just saying, permafrost is the leading cause for depression in Smite, so there's always that to consider. RDO being the next ban of choice for Astral Authority, and Elevate having that first pick just immediately insta-locking that Sobek.
Grab it up, use it wisely as long as they can. We've seen Sobek picked a few times today, and picked a few times, I think, throughout the console scene, where sometimes he has mixed success, same way with PC. The plucks are going to be the important thing. A little bit harder to aim overall, but as long as you can find them, Elevate have perfect setup there.
I like the immediate response, though, from Astral Authority to opt for the Jing Wei, recognizing that Sobek's going to have that tail whip or even the pluck to try and disorient the ADC if they're looking for that kind of target focus. Jing Wei will be able to dash away off of those knockups.
And Cullen being locked in, we've seen countless times, I think, a nice set of victory for him. And with him more than likely going into the solo lane, doesn't have to, could still be a jungle, going to have to deal with a Susano on the other side, who can be, I think the polite term is a nuisance.
Susano has a ton of mobility, and that can almost always work into his favor. But, of course, with that passive receiving a little bit of a tweaking, you don't get as much movement speed off of it at the very least. So, still plenty of opportunities for Astral Authority to try and shut this one down. But really what I'm looking at is the approach that Elevate has seemed to opt for here with that double Guardian. This has actually become a pretty prevalent meta, or at least a common occurrence on the Xbox.
Yeah, and it used to be something we saw pretty often. One going into the solo, the other one kind of carrying up that actual support role, because you get a nice, decent amount of control, especially from a Sobek and from a Terra, of all things. A lot of anti-healing and healing to kind of give your team just a little bit of an advantage.
And Thor actually being the jungler of choice for Astral Authority, with Elevate taking a couple of target bans, trying to look at Astral's jungler, not really wanting to let him play that Nemesis or the Awelish for good reason. Even though Awelish wouldn't have too much setup potential off of her team, it's still a pretty potent pick because of how much damage that Feather Step can do early on.
One we glanced over was kind of the Athena, which she's just always stable. Like, she's just always there. People kind of forget about her sometimes, but she's ever present. Nox actually going to be, I think, the flavor of the day. The one that we haven't seen today or last week, I don't think.
Nox isn't the most common selection, as far as I'm aware, for the console side in the mid lane, because I'm assuming that that's going to be the mid laner of choice for Astral. And one thing that I really like about this is that Brochacho piloting that Athena, which, again, I'm also anticipating that's the case, but he's got a really nasty Athena, just constantly dropping those taunts off, and there's nothing worse of a nightmare than trying to get away from the taunt of Athena plus the silence root combination from the Nox.
And that's going to be something that Elevate have to come into this one recognizing and ready to deal with. And, I mean, just based on the pattern of the day, it's been split 2-0, split 2-0. Split possibly able if Elevate can continue this pattern, but they really want that 2-0. And the same thing goes for Astral Authority. Again, they really want that first seed spot, and being able to tie it up with strictly business, this is their main goal for the day.
Just look at how protective Elevate are trying to be of their buffs right now. Dr. L actually very concerned that Astral Authority might be leaning more towards an invade without, well, actually, no, it is going to be a hog on Neximus. Really concerned that they would have immediately looked for those buffs, and with that in mind, Neximus should be able to secure this blue buff rather safely.
And doing an interesting split, putting the mid with the jungle to kind of come in and confirm that speed. The blue buff going to be confirmed by Neximus, but a couple of the minions afterward going to be confirmed by Astral Authority. And we have seen Kukulkan and Thor both have success in keeping that pressure early on, especially on the solo side just in today, let alone from what we've seen in other areas of play.
And with that start being the case, it's still Brochacho and Covey. Well, actually, no, they just hit level 2, but they've got to be kind of careful here, because the way that Elevate chose to start off on the map means that they're really going to try and stay on top of their buff timers to prevent Astral Authority from stealing those away early on.
One of the big things right here is El Brochacho getting low. A couple more hits would all it need to take. The Cameron not necessarily in a position to continue that aggression, especially with the minion wave pushing up. They don't want to do that too early at level 3. But one thing to look at is going to be the global presence from Athena, the semi-global presence from the Thor. Astral Authority have a lot of mobility to kind of keep up with where Susanoo might be.
That Defender of Olympus, though, being able to mitigate out so much damage with those protections off of that ult means that Brochacho is probably going to be super on point as far as defending his teammates are concerned. Speaking of which, Brochacho actually caught up in between 4 members of Elevate. And it's going to be Dr. L actually taking that first blood, as well as Elevate stealing the purple buff.
Just trying to defend his own jungle and get out of it. Transonics actually now going to get stun locked up against the wall. The knockup not going to connect with anyone, but the shots from Cameron just enough on point. It forces Transonics to go back. Not the worst thing in the world for a Jingwei. She can make it back no problem, but still nice small win for the duo side for Elevate.
I'm not too surprised to see that one happen. It's just one of those things that you sort of expect, because Elevate do have a lot of pressure in this dual lane. When you have a Terra and a Hu Yi, that's going to be one of the most proficient lanes ever for clearing, and recognizing that already, Elevate just trying to freeze out Transonics as much as possible from that farm.
This is a big thing. Elevate right now coming into this kind of unfavored, and when you look at Astral, these are players that have been around for quite a while, not only on console but on PC a little bit before that. They've been playing at a higher level for a long time and trying to keep themselves going forward. And Transonics, you can even see, even getting forced back, even with a little bit of a disadvantage, still going to be laughing, still going to be having some fun with this matchup.
Transonics, though, making the right choice there. One of the best ways to counteract the lane being frozen is to let the creeps push as far up into your tower as possible. That's why we don't see him even looking for the last hits, just letting those creep waves fight against each other. Last hits not being as important because miss out on a slight amount of gold, but at the same time, just having those waves push closer to your tower mean that you'll ultimately be safer.
Right now, it looks like Elevate looking to group up and try to confirm their own buffs. And we were kind of talking about this before the game, but pressure can be gained just simply by walking in there. We've seen countless teams at this point being able to take control of the game through one clean sweep of the jungle, and Elevate hoping to not give any leeway to Astral Authority and make sure that they can at least keep their own speed buff.
Neximus really doing Dr. L a huge favor of picking up that hog, because it just means that it's going to further deter Astral from trying to hunt around for Elevate's buffs, and especially keeping in mind that Elevate have the buff timer on Astral's purple buff. You can probably anticipate another 4-man grouping to try and catch maybe Brochacho off guard again.
And at that point, Brochacho without his ult available still, anytime they catch him, if they can catch him before that level 5, he's going to be in danger. He's not going to have a decent escape. He does have the dash, but body blocks can keep Athena kind of locked down, and that's why the 4-man rotation was so effective against him.
It was just perfect timing all around by Elevate. Now as they're looking to try and secure these oracles, but Kobe's looking to give up a little bit of contest. Not able to take one away, though, so far, and that will be oracles purely in favor of Elevate.
Now being able to gain small leads, but any lead at all is going to get enough that you can kind of pressure it. Is Cameron going to go in on Transonics? The dash is going to be good. Jingwei is going to be able to survive most of these ganks, just has a lot of escape. But letting Transonics knows that you can't just free farm over here.
That's exactly what I was waiting for, though, is for Cameron to try and play aggressive. He really can't, because the Hu Yi, that slight knockup that normally works so very well in setting yourself up for that stun combination with your Ricochet, is actually working against him, because it just gives Transonics another method to dash away.
And as things go forward, even when Neximus starts rotating over, Transonics just going to be able to use the pluck for the same reason, going to be able to kind of use this engage as a disengage for himself and keep himself safe. But the big ones, Covey might get caught out by that chaotic purpose. The other squishies that are going to be the primary targets for Elevate here are the ones who are going to be a little bit more susceptible to the pluck and just the engage coming out from Elevate.
Astral's decision-making, though, already goes to show the experience of this team, recognizing that they're not going to have pressure from their dual lane side, and after Brochacho died early on, they just immediately left that lane alone, leaving Transonics to acquire as much solo farm as possible so that way he could try and keep up with Cameron. But more importantly, having that ability to potentially pressure out the mid and solo lane side is only going to benefit Astral, because eventually Visions is going to want to start rotating to try and match up with Brochacho.
And being able to kind of keep Brochacho in a place that's going to keep Covey safe as well, and allow them to potentially get some poke down onto Mythid, I think is going to be the big target. Yanis has a lot of escape. We saw it earlier. We'll see it again just coming out of here. Walking through walls can get you out of a lot of scenarios.
I gotta say, Baronic's Giannis earlier today was on another level. That was pretty nutty, but I mean, this is still plenty opportunities for Mythic. That's I think one of the defining moments for a good Giannis player is one that can recognize how to properly engage but also disengage.
Speaking of engage, Transonics, Brochacho coming in. The blink going to be coming through. The taunt looking for the Hu Yi here, but just not able to find the damage they want. He's at half health, and the Yanis portal going to be used, but with through space and time being thrown out and the disengage coming out from Elevate, just does not look like they're going to find anything. But on the other side of the map, collapse in on Wolves, taken down by the 3-man rotation to the solo.
One of the risks that you take when you put 4 members on one side of the map, or excuse me, 3 members on one side of the map, starting to learn how to count, but either way, it's just well executed by Elevate to just gank the other half.
And even now, Chaotic Purpose kind of recognizing he's in a dangerous scenario. He was going to walk forward. He sees 3 bodies trying to farm up. I'm going to take a different path going through there. Goes through the mid-Harpies. Not going to be able to get a lot of farm through that pathing just the way he is. Going to be maybe a little late to some of these things, but when it comes down to it, the big thing is that Elevate is finding some of the control of the big neutral objectives.
One of the best parts, though, about Transonics having Brochacho on that Athena is that no 1v1 is ever truly a 1v1 as long as that Defender of Olympus is available. And it's something that Cameron's going to have to keep in mind. He can't really afford to be over-aggressive unless he knows that that Athena ultimate is on cooldown, because you never know whether or not Kovi's going to be following up right next to him.
And being able to kind of fall down, even if he thinks he can avoid the damage from Brochacho coming in on that, Transonics has a lot of follow-up. Transonics has a lot of abilities to chase you down. So yeah, okay, you can escape, but can you escape enough when it comes down to it? And since we see Athena did pick up Blink, we saw the combo come through. Defender of Olympus into Blink, going straight for the aggro.
And Cameron just barely making it out of there in time before Chaotic Purpose could rotate over. He was starting to hover around that top corner of the Gold Fury, but still, all around, it's been solid farming from Astral Authority, considering that the majority of Elevate's gold lead has come from that 400 gold First Blood bounty.
And at the way things are going, Mythic looks like he's going to be going into that Book of Thoth, which is going to match the Nox with Kovi, but he's not going to have quite as much farm going for it, as we're going to see the Berserker's Barrage come down. Dr. L low, but that tower still early enough in the game that it's enough to deter everyone on Astral. They're just going to fall back, happy with their poke.
Also, I just got to say this for the viewers at home who might not yet be aware. For anybody wondering what that screeching sound is, that's the skin for the Nox. It's actually on her first ability, the Root, that's going to make that screaming eagle sound every time.
That's just how you know things are going your way. As we see Brochacho coming down, a lot of damage thrown into Neximus. The through space and time is there, but not enough to get him out, but it doesn't matter. Terra's rotated over. Neximus is going to go down, but it's looking like the chase for Elevate. They still want some of that damage. Kovi going to get traded out now 3-1 in favor of Elevate. All of the kills going their way, and Chaotic Purpose tossed back. The Typhoon going forward, just barely not enough damage to be able to find the kill. But now Transonics with his rotations going to get caught out. A lot of damage going through. The knock up, the dash going to be good, but he's still in a 1v3 scenario. It looks like Elevate don't quite want to fight it because they're a little too far pushed up.
Wolves, though, he's already looking to make the rotation on that Kakolan. They're able to catch out Dr. L in the backside, and the Barb Spear will be enough to clean him up.
Now the Suns come down, not able to find the kill onto Transonics, but Cameron's made that rotation over Visions, staying a little bit too long. His welcome was done. He's going to go down into the ground as well. Now tying up the kills 3-3. Astral, not the best start for them, but they're still going to be able to kind of even that one up and keep the game pretty much dead even as it's been 10 minutes in.
But check out Wolves finally getting off that speed buff invade. Chaotic Purpose showing face as well, just poking out as much as possible against Neximus. Double tap will connect. Actually might be able to chase this one down. Wolves, all his cooldowns are not available right now though, so unfortunately just gonna have to watch Neximus back to base with 10% health. Still letting the Croc know what's up.
Just the small difference, but it makes a difference. He's not going to get the kill, but he does show Neximus you don't have control of this lane, and you do not have control of this jungle as we take your blue buff as well. And the same thing can kind of be said over here for Kovi, or for Transonics up against Cameron. He is keeping control of this lane, even though, like you had mentioned earlier, he's kind of just been left out to dry by his team. He's just all alone over here.
That's just what you expect to happen with the Jing Wei, though. When you have so much survivability, your team, especially at a competitive level, isn't going to anticipate you ever running into trouble. Your positioning should never be off guard enough to where you can't get yourself out of any awkward situation.
And I have to say it just because we sat in the third-person camp. I love that skin. Like, that is probably my favorite Jing Wei skin. Just
the T2?
Bride of Thanatos is what I like to call it. Like, it looks so nice.
The TT skin's pretty sick for her. I think that a lot of the TT skins lately have been awesome, but before we get a whole lot of high-risk sellout going on in the chat, just gotta admit, he gets it. But I gotta admit, though, this has been really well played, I'd say, from Elevate, coming in, being expected underdogs to face off against Astral Authority, who's a team that's very highly regarded. Some are even calling them potentially the best team in North American console right now. So it can be difficult to try and fight off against that.
Especially when it's some of the most public players that you would know. Astral, very, very vocal, very present on social media, keeping themselves noticed. Whereas on the other side, you know Elevate from seeing them play, but they never seem to be that far out there. Transsonic's going to take that storm right to the face. A nice ricochet as well, but not enough to find the kill. Elevate really just trying to find the disengage there, keep Transsonic's off their back.
Transsonic's actually pretty lucky that Mark of the Crow had just worn off, otherwise he would have been stunned, and I wouldn't have been surprised to see Dr. L try and find some follow-up, and actually, that was a lot of lifesteal off of the buffs, and I'm not sure that Elevate have no idea. They have absolutely no idea. Dr. L might have just heard about that Gold Fury being aggressed onto right now, so he's going to make his way over, but it won't be good enough. Astral Authority take the first Gold Fury of the game, and Transsonic's takes Dr. L's life.
Dr. L just a little bit too aggressive trying to get in there. I appreciate the attempt. I always love to see a good steal, but he's just not able to find it there. Wolves now be in the front line, going to get knocked up a little bit, but it seems like Elevate recognized their loss. They're just going to go ahead and fall back before they commit too hard to anything they can't win. And honestly, out of that, you'd think maybe some sound cues could give it away, and I think that's what cued Dr. L in, but it was just too late on the side of Elevate.
And I'm surprised that Cameron didn't also try to make that rotation there. 2 is always better than 1 in those sort of situations, but unfortunately, the jungler was kind of just left alone there. Huge kill, though, for Transsonic's, primarily because not only does he have his Devourer's Gauntlets fully stacked, so he's got a massive power spike there already, but picking up that Executioner is just going to make things even more difficult for Cameron in this lane. He's got quite a few waves to go before he's got fully stacked Devo, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Transsonic's just immediately start aggressing onto him.
And being able to keep Dr. L under wraps is going to allow Chaotic Purpose on the other side as Thor to be able to do a little bit, and a little bit he shall do. Vision's going to once again fall down, going to be taken down under his own tower. And Dr. L going to be welcomed back into the game by Wolves by sending him straight back to the base.
And Wolves, that is just so brutal. As a solo laner, not only that, he takes the buff right in front of Neximus while cleaning him up at the same time. That is a feels bad, man.
It hurts. Like, it's painful to watch. I've been in that situation before. It is not something you want to have to deal with. Portal Demon now started up. We do see Mythic around the corner. Going to be throwing out the Unstable Vortex. Going to be able to portal away, keep himself safe. But no one's going to be portaling in to go for it. Actually, no, through space and time's going to come through. He steals away the Portal Demon. Now he finds himself in an awkward position, but going through the walls is exactly what he wants to do. He's going to be able to walk away. Chaotic Purpose going to get shut down there by Dr. L, who comes around. And while Mythic does eventually end up dying, he does keep his team just close enough because of that steal.
And Cameron unable to make the rotation at the same time, but it's looking like Dr. L wants this kill onto Covey first. However, there's still 2 other members to peel around for him. Vision's trying to find it as well, and he will. Terra taking out the Nox.
Going to be able to kind of rock his world there. And now Neximus looking to be the distraction for Transsonic's. The rest of Elevate up here in the jungle of Astral, pushing down now the tier 2 with a wave walking into it. The entire time, Cameron, he's I don't need to rotate. I can split push, and he gets exactly the utility he really needs to.
Elevate managed to win out those fights. Oh my god, Transsonic's just destroying Dr. L, but now he's caught up in the middle of 3 members. No problem, he's got Jingwei ultimate to his advantage, except he's still got Cameron hot on his heels, and the double bounce will take him down.
Yeah, trying his best to juke that one out, but not able to find it. Brochacho now looking like he wants to continue his aggression, because we can see Chaotic Purpose laying in wait, has the ability to go up into the air if he so wants. But it looks like the team's not quite on that page. They don't want to get that aggressive, especially without Transsonic's. They don't have all of the damage in the world, so they want to be able to kind of keep themselves safe. Don't throw bodies unnecessarily.
Wolf just backed to base, but he backed in between Elevate's Phoenix and T2 Tower in the solo lane. He just has so much control right now and is so incredibly farmed. Sitting at level 16, the only other person keeping up with him is Mythic. And I think that Mythic has had a pretty heavy impact for his team as well. He single-handedly saved that Portal Demon for his team. And on top of that, Elevate were actually able to turn around and get a few kills due to that steal.
Just solo lane things coming out here from Wolves and looking like he wants to continue that path. Dr. L once again getting caught out through space and time, going to be thrown through. And we see the unstable vertex connecting, but not enough to find the kill just yet. The Suns are dropped, which is just going to be good for zoning. The knockout coming out from the Susano looking for the kill, but Dr. L is the one who's going to fall. Transonics with the rotation going to be strong here. Brochacho low, but he's just looking to help his team out, and Mythic or Visions here all going to be very good targets, and it looks like Wolves just wants to keep going. There's no reason for him to stop. He is ready. He's hulked out. He wants to go and fight, but the team's a little bit too low. Covey and Brochacho both in the red. Steal away the speed buff, maybe come around, steal away the blue buff on its respawn, and at that point, they still have control of this right-hand jungle.
Chaotic Purpose, though, feeling just how much damage a level 16 Yanis can put out. That was, I mean, that's not something I feel too comfortable farming out a blue buff with, and that's exactly why we see him teleporting away almost immediately after locking that one down.
Now, looks like Astral Authority are kind of trying to just fall back a little bit. At this point, they have the control that they would want this early on. Wolves, I say back off, and of course, Wolves is going to go right back in. He wants to fight. Neximus is 4 levels behind him, and it doesn't seem like Wolves has any care in the world over there.
Unfortunately for Neximus, he kind of just accepted that he was going to have the losing matchup for the laning phase. It's just that they're still waiting for the team fights to fully break out. That was a pretty good example of just how they can shake out. Unfortunately, Mythics through space and time didn't connect with any of the members from Astral, and that's probably the primary reason why we saw Astral handling that fight so well.
And Elevate will have the timer for this Gold Fury. While Dr. L wasn't able to steal it, he was at least able to view it. And now Cameron going to be making the rotation over. He does have the Suns. They get dropped a little early, though. Transonic's going to be hurt just a little bit by that, but it's not going to be enough to do anything for the Gold Fury. Kobe hiding in Brochacho, looking to get away here, and it's going to be a safe trip for him. And now here comes Wolves. Chaotic Purpose in the sky. They're looking for the fight. He's not going to be able to find anyone, but the Nox ult coming through. Brochacho going forward. I'm not sure if that was the target he wanted, but as it stands, Astral doing the best they can to zone this out. Vision's looking low. The dash is coming through for the Terra. Cameron also trying to get out of here, and it looks like they might be able to turn this one on Brochacho as he's getting very low.
That Ricochet just absolutely destroyed Astral Authorities they were trying to chase. Wolves, though, still able to find Cameron on the backside. The root is good onto Neximus, but even with the Thorns pop, it won't make too much of a difference. Kobe's still able to clean him up. Meanwhile, Dr. L taken out. Actually, he just took out Chaotic Purpose.
What I really like is when the Thorns were popped, you could see Chaotic Purpose was going for the double tap onto the Sobek and immediately recognized, I'm about to kill myself if this goes through. Teleports to it. Unfortunately, Dr. L laying in wait, able to clean that one up. But the Gold Fury is still open. Terra coming over. The stun going to be good. Looking for damage or at least zoning going to come in, get the dash. Covey is low. Transonics is low. It's going to go down, but it's still going to be in favor of Astral Authority. Covey's still alive, and now Visions looks like he's in a bad situation, but it's going to be Transonics with Mythic rotating over.
That dash was a little moment of regret. You could see it in that dash, just all the moments where Transonics kind of realized he should have just backed off right there. But I completely understand the ADC greed. You want to find the kill. Visions had no dashes available, considering that he used them to get that root in place, try and tick away with damage onto the Gold Fury for the steal. But ultimately, a huge kill for Mythic.
I feel like plays like that let you know exactly when an ADC started learning. Is now Chaotic Purpose going in. The Berserker's Barrage onto 3, trying to get the damage spread. The Suns are dropped. Elevate looking to just disengage this. But normally you see an ADC, they're that aggressive. They learn from Zapman. They learn from watching like Season 1 Zapman. They're like, I could take on everybody. I'm going to go ahead and go in. Unfortunately, Transonic's learning this isn't Season 1, so he's not going to be able to live through.
I don't know. That wasn't in between the Phoenix and the Titan.
Good point.
It was
good point.
Getting closer, though. Huge through space and time, but actually everybody from Astral Authority going to see this one coming and able to get right out of the way. Proper leash of the Portal Demon. Smart choice making.
The speed finally confirmed there, and it's going to go on the back of Terra. I'm not sure Visions is exactly the one who wants it, but Dr. L's on the other side of the map. Portal Demon going through. Neximus going to look to be taken down here, and Covey's going to get credit for that one. Portal Demon still bouncing around, but Astral Authority going to be able to confirm this one for themselves. And now Mythic, a huge ton of damage coming down from Transonics. He's going to be able to get rid of the Yanis like it's nothing. And now Cameron doing his best to get away, but the taunt's going to be good. The shield wall, the Aegis, the beads, all coming through just to try and keep Cameron alive, but he's one hit, and Transonics once again going to be able to clean that one up without much of a worry.
That tower means absolutely nothing to Wolves. If you are 10% or lower, Wolves will chase you to the end of the earth right now. Just nobody really seems able to handle Wolves, and it's just he's grown to be so massive throughout this game, kind of just left unchecked other than the initial start where he ended up dying early on. But that didn't even make too much of a difference.
Now the Fire Giant gonna be taken down. Astral now 5 members strong with this one. It's gonna be rough, I want to say, going forward with this. Elevate, they're not necessarily in the best standings right now, and of course coming into this not being favored, you get a little bit more demoralized, and now that you know the Fire Giant's not going your way, even though you're only 5 kills behind, it starts to impact you, and you can see with the story from the experience especially, falling that far in favor of Astral now, that's going to hurt.
For me, one of the unsung heroes, of course, is actually going to show some love into Brochacho on that Athena support. These taunts have just been absolutely flawless, and it's so much set up for Covey. They're almost impossible to not get a kill off of every single time now, and it's only helped Astral continue to extend their lead.
And Transonic's doing that ADC thing, where he's left alone, and he just decides to take your lane for it. And at this point, there's not a lot Elevate can do. They can try to defend this tier 2, but when you have members with Fire Giant rushing down and knocking at it, there's not a lot of commit you can go into it unless you think you can catch them out. The wall's going to be there from Chaotic Purpose, looking to try and get a little bit of damage down, but a lot of squishies, and then Vision's up there, who's level 14 at this point, so he's going to get picked on. Brochacho tossed back, taking damage. This is almost similar to what we saw earlier, except now happening near the Phoenix of the Typhoon coming through. Going to get the knockup, but he's going to be able to live through this one, just barely dodging the through space and time, and going to be able to make it out of there. And Wolves doing his Wolves thing, going in, getting the damage down, fighting off all 5 members of Elevate just by himself, with his team slowly but surely coming in behind.
Calculated bait by Wolves, apparently working out as he's able to take down Cameron for it underneath his Phoenix. And already Transonics just focus on securing that T2 tower. Brochacho able to ult back in thanks to that Defender of Olympus, but what could have been a potentially strong fight from Astral Authority, or Elevate, excuse me, but Neximus doesn't even get a chance to come back into this.
Yeah, the portal going to be good to at least deter Wolves for a little bit, but Chaotic Purpose still getting aggressive. The Phoenix is going to be enough to deter him, though. He is low, going to be able to avoid that Terra damage. And Dr. L's kind of hanging around here as well, but all 5 members of Astral still want to keep going. Covey going to get 1 kill. Vision's doing his best to try and defend this Phoenix. Here comes Neximus, here comes Mythic. They want to do their best, but the Phoenix is still going to fall. They haven't managed to wipe a single Fire Giant belt off the board.
He's in the Titan room by himself, and there's 4 members of Elevate alive. Just Wolves is insane right now. There's nobody that can touch him. Cameron even dropping his ultimate, looking to expend everything, and Wolves is just going to walk right out of there.
That one, you were saying feels bad, man, earlier. That one is the one that really hurts coming into us. Hey, this guy's in our Titan, in our face. I can at least try to get the kill on him. I'm an ADC. I should be able to take him down. And there he goes. He's just continue walking away.
Actually, the Stone of Gaia, I think, coming up pretty huge here for Wolves, combined alongside of the Gladiator Shield. Just the amount of sustain that he's providing for himself. 6 stacks already formed up in that Urchin as well. He's just, he's a force to be reckoned with right now. I think the biggest disparity right now for Elevate is just they don't really have anybody who can shred through those protections or that health. They kind of needed a chin size somewhere, most likely from Cameron, but can't blame the ADC for trying to opt for that crit chance.
And as we can see, crit chance on the side of Transonics going to go ahead and finish off that Deathbringer. And he was hitting hard before. Elevate's about to feel exactly how hard he can start hitting now, as it looks like he's going to continue that path. Gold Fury once again started up. Right now, they are 2 for 2, so Astral going to make that 3 for 3 and be able to confirm that one. This time, Elevate nowhere to be seen. They're going to hear that cue. They recognize that they're losing it. Now they're about 12,000 gold behind. It's starting to hurt, but they just don't have a way to open up that part of the map.
You know that Wolves and Brochacho are great supports just based off the way they make their carries look so damn good all the time. Speaking of which, Wolves and Brochacho actually looking to chase down Neximus one more time, forcing the back up into his ultimate, and now it's actually going to be Covey in a lot of trouble as Dr. L takes him out with the Typhoon.
And now we're going to be going forward, but Dr. L is going to be the next one to fall through space and time, going to pave its way for Mythic, and he tries to use a different portal to make sure Transonics can't find him, but Transonics going to be able to respond almost immediately and find the last few hits, and that's going to be 2 members now. 30 seconds left until Dr. L is back. 40 seconds for Mythic, and it seems like we're going to see Astral fall back one more time. 30 seconds until another Fire Giant. They're going to probably pick that one up. The Portal Demon's open. The map is their territory, and the world is their oyster.
I'm not sure if that was on purpose or accidental, but that's certainly one of the best ways to take out a Giannis, just to cover every single possible wall he could go through. There was at least one member from Astral along all of those sightings from mid to solo lane, so no matter where it was that Mythic tried to go, it just had absolutely no escape, which I'm not used to saying or seeing from a Giannis.
Yeah, at that point, usually one of the most slippery gods, not able to slip out. And the same thing kind of goes on the other side. We're looking at Transonics. He's been slippery this entire game, only 2 deaths. 7 kills sitting up there, and with the Fire Giant about to go on his belt, even with the defense from Elevate, it looks like he's going to be the one who's going to try to extend that one, but I'm also just Wolves being Wolves. Right now, he's not doing anything spectacular, but the way that things have been going for him, I just expect to see him going into the fountain soon.
I don't know. Just take a look at that player damage from Wolves. 28,000 and climbing at 10K above anybody else, and that's including his own team. So Wolves is just insane. Like, that's the only thing that can really be determined from this. Taking that speed buff away from his jungler, Chaotic Purpose, probably ready to F6 and uninstall for that one. But either way, Elevate are going to have a difficult time trying to fend off Astral.
I'm going to predict the future here. I see a Cullen ban in the next game going into this. Whether or not Elevate can turn this one around, that doesn't matter. Wolves has just been so much of a pain for Elevate. And even now, they're going to be trying to do a lot. The knockup's going to be good from him, which is going to allow the return damage coming from Astral. The Suns are dropped to at least get a small disengage, as Covey getting a little bit close to half health, so he's a little bit worried. But Transonics going forward with Wolves and Chaotic Purpose and Brochacho, and they're going to be able to pick up Visions. They're going to find Cameron if that Aegis wears off in time. They're not quite fast enough to get the kill, but now Neximus, we're going to be seeing Cameron fall. Mythic, Neximus, the only 2 left alive. The Phoenix is going to be the target. They're going to be able to take that no problem. Transonics just farming up still, just trying to get ahead, and at this point, now they will have some fire minions coming down to help them with this Titan, but this should be the game for Astral as they come through. Neximus just icing on top of the cake. That is the Titan, and that is going to be the first victory for Astral, showing